right. Looks like this broadcast was deleted on Facebook. What?
Oh.
How's that possible? All right, let's edit. All right. Says we are live. Yeah, it looks like we're live, so we're good. Think so. Let's see if the family can vouch for us. But I think we are live. I just got a notification that says we're live, so we should be good to go. There we go. All right, cool. All right, well, we only got about an hour to really get into it. I wish we had more time because I follow you on Facebook, and you drop some serious gems, and I just kind of really want to get into that. But before I do that, I want to get into your bio just a little bit, just kind of give the family a little bit about a little heads up on what they can expect. So let me see here. I have your bio. It says Starr is a wife, a mother, and soon to be grandmother, a military veteran, a real estate professional, an ordained minister and alchemist, the author of The Butterfly Experience, The Alchemical Steps to Enlightenment, the creator of Dark Enlightenment, and the online private group Mastery of Mentalism. And so before I get started, before I go any further than that, I want to wish you a happy belated birthday. I know you just celebrated another return, so happy birthday and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you.
So let's just get right into it. You know, your bio is fascinating. And as I'm reading, I see ordained minister and alchemist. And I like the range on that. So can you explain to me your journey of toward becoming one and then, encompassing or embracing the other? How did that work?
Oh. Oh, wow. Well, I would like to say I am honored to be on the show, and I'm honored to even be asked, and how honestly, and just to get this out the way, because a lot of people, they think of alchemy and they look at it and think it's some intimidating term or something they can never obtain, and it's something that we're already doing. It's something that our bodies are already doing. Everything is already alchemically balanced in the ethers. But just to get back into what I personally did, I had to go through a lot of moments of darkness and literally face the darkest part of myself and overcome that, and then once you get a wide perspective of all the different channels that you had to go down to pretty much save yourself, you end up getting a more universal view on things. So the things that I battled against, I end up actually understanding it, and then I see the wisdom in it, and I'm like, oh, and then I can apply it to other things. So it was more like a puzzle that I was able to piece together, and now I'm able to even converse with religious people, and I can still bridge. It's all alchemy to me, and I can still bridge it and not offend anyone in the room,
Right.
Well, I do anyway, but
it's kind of hard not to in these spaces, but no, I can dig it though. One of the things that drew me to you was your transparency. And I mean, I see some of the things you write, I'm just like, my mind is blown. And you talk about some of the adversity that you faced. And honestly, you're my first guest on this show, this new platform that I'm doing. I'm calling it Living Proof. And so, you hear all these theoretical ideas about what it takes to become something other than what you're living, right? Mm-hmm. And people say, oh, well, you can't turn, this person is for the streets, right? Oh. She's behaving this way or he's behaving that way. That person is for the streets. And so I hear you say things like, well, I cheated on this person, I cheated on that person, and now here I am, I'm this wife. And to me, you look like you're modeling what it means to be a wife. So, and then there was this post in the group the other day. It was talking about the
selection.
No. It was the let me see. I got the meme right here. Hold on. I don't want to lose this one because this was a point that I wanted to touch on. It was the quantum physics.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
What the thinker thinks, the prover proves. And so quantum physics tells us nothing that is observed is unaffected by the observer. So, and then I commented on that post saying something to the effect that even a woman who's selling her body has, and it was in response to a video
Yeah,
that the woman said all she had to offer was sex. And
that's
I was saying that even a woman who's a prostitute has more to offer than just sex. And there are people who didn't really understand that, but you got it, right? So
oh yeah.
reconcile that for me, how you were living in a way that somebody might have said, oh well, she's not wife material.
Oh yeah.
And now here you are exactly that.
Oh
And
gosh,
then,
yeah.
and then this idea that um, this woman thought that all she had to offer was sex, but in reality, we agreed that there was more to offer. So reconcile it, wrap that up for me. What do you think about that?
Okay. Well, yeah, in response to that, and it's funny, the video, it just, I really would love to have a conversation with the young lady that made the video, because now that's her truth. But the perspective of that is, oh, she's for the streets. This is all online talk. This is not what um, happy people see. And what I mean by that is whatever you put in here, that's going to be your reality. So what I did, I've done a lot of things. Like I said, I have to face all my darkness. So everything that I see all these men post up, and these are some of them my friends. I've mentored some men. Many men actually. I've mentored many people. I've done a lot over the decade. And these are the very men that are saying all these things. So sometimes I have to remind them that that's what I am. I'm everything. You don't think I did that already? You don't think that other women are doing it? It's just that I'm very honest, because I feel like I'll do a disservice to other people by being dishonest about I've never been 100% righteous. And to say that, it's a disservice to people who actually want to understand the alchemical process to get to where pretty much where I am at this point. I am that PTA mom, I'm sitting here teaching my kids about the periodic table, I bake pies, just made a pot of gumbo the other day. So I'm just saying, like, that doesn't reflect my past, do not reflect anything that's happening right now.
Right, right. So now, to your point, you just made that comment that was her truth. When she said that's all I had to offer, that was true because that's what she confessed to. That's what she believed. Right.
Absolutely.
So there's this saying, you can't turn the hoe into a housewife, right?
Oh, you can. My mom did it.
So to that point, I'm in agreement with the idea that as a man, I can't necessarily turn a hoe into a housewife, but she herself can transform herself into wife material. What do you think about that?
It's a matter of perspective.
Okay.
It's a matter of perspective, honestly, because everybody's definition.
That's that family life over there.
Everybody's definition of hoe is different. So, now an actual traditional hoe, yeah, you can. Like I said, I'm a product of a very interesting relationship. So, did it work? Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm an amazing gift to my father. I mean, me and him, he's just left my house. He came and got some gumbo. Me and him are like best friends. Yeah. So with that being said, him and my mother, their relationship was very dysfunctional. My mother was, if you ever seen Casino, did you ever see Ginger? Right. Okay, that's my mother. He fell for her beauty, and she was never the type of woman to probably even make children. But he still took a chance. He got rid of the good one and got that one, and that's what happened. And not putting that, love my dad, but, not putting that on blast or anything. But I'm just saying that it can work. It's just there's always a way to balance it. There's always a way to balance it. If my husband judged me by some of the things I've done in my past, by how my last marriage ended, we wouldn't be together. I've never, ever stepped out on my husband, would never even imagine it. So it's like I said, different people bring out different results.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Your group, mastery of mentalism, and then your path toward being an ordained minister
Yeah.
as well as an alchemist. So I know you can relate to this. The Bible scripture that says, be renewed, what does it say? Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? And most people don't understand that that's where the transformation begins,
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah.
And so talk to me a little bit about this transformation, because you were very blatant and honest about your past as a narcissist.
Oh,
But,
absolutely.
but then you talk about how you had to overcome that lack of empathy. And I think most people throw that word around, narcissist, right? But they don't realize that the real caveat to what it is to be a narcissist is that you lack empathy.
Absolutely. You lack
So,
empathy.
yeah, so talk about that transition from being a narcissist to developing that sense of empathy in yourself to where now you are healed. Did you say you self-healed, or did you go to therapy for that? How'd that work?
No, I didn't, because I didn't even realize I had a problem. I thought it was everybody else.
Yeah.
So that's why, yeah, I did. I thought it was everybody else. But the thing is, I knew it because I was bred to be that way growing up. I wouldn't even call my mother a narcissist. I would call her a psychopath. And a lot of people don't even understand the definition of that either. A psychopath has zero empathy, and they do the things that they do are very sadistic in nature. Now, narcissism is different because a narcissistic person may not have sadistic ways. They just doing what they do because it's self gratification.
Yeah.
But it's a thin line between the two. But I know the difference because I've grown up looking directly at it. I was grown up to be that way. My mother taught me how to pretty much dominate over other individuals. Because I had to watch it growing up. She dominated over men in front of me. So that was my reality. So this is what I'm saying at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is what I'm being shown. There was no homework. There was no, oh, go read a book. It was, okay, look, this is what you're supposed to do. I'm going to show you. And I got shown. And, to keep it very light, yeah. So anyway, not knowing, I grew up and repeated those patterns. And, there's just certain things that I did, and I look back and I still sometimes can't believe I did those things. I was very abusive. And, I ended my marriage because I couldn't allow my sons to see their father get abused.
Wow.
Yeah. I had to dig deep and just realize, the moment that it hit me was when I realized I just took it too far. And it was just, it got pretty bad to where I just, like I said, I had to really step back and just think, but I still couldn't feel the empathy part. And they say, like, you never get past, oh, once you're this way, you're this way. And now I can. And you know what made me feel empathy?
What's that?
I gave birth to my first daughter when I was 30. And it literally ignited something in me. So, it did something to me. And then my husband, he was the first man that wasn't captivated by my beauty or any type of manipulation tactics or anything. He didn't even care about the superficial, but he seen something in me, and he still, I don't know. Like I said, I wanted him to the point where there is not going to be no man that shatters my ego, that I can't dominate. I can't dominate you. You got to mine somehow.
Right.
And I'll submit. And I did. All I did was make pies. I'm about to vacuum when we're done.
Real wife stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing, because some people say a leopard never changes its stripes or its spots, or all those different cliches. But this is why
Janice, go turn that light on. Sorry.
This is really the motivation for this show, because I appreciate the theoretical ideas about what it takes to transition or become better, but I titled it Living Proof because I like showing and proving what it really is, what the living manifestation and embodiment of these ideas really is. And I think that when it comes to um, how you describe what you were before you became the wife that you are today, and how you describe being a narcissist where
But
you are. Go ahead.
there's some things in between there that I did that most, and I'm not knocking any other woman, and there's going to be women that's going to listen and that's going to be like, what? Because right now even women get mad at me when they hear how I am, and they were like, you're this and you're that. Well, yes, ma'am, I'm what your ex-boyfriend is. It's just that I'm his karma. And don't get mad at me if you don't have the ability to be that. You know, I'm not a threat. If anything, learn from me. I'll give you the blueprints. But here's what I did. I know I messed up towards my ex-husband. I'm not blind to that. I know what I did. So, he moved on, which he should have. I wanted him to. And even though I wasn't in full agreement with who he moved on with, she was a lot younger than me. And that wasn't a problem. It was just, I was just everything in I don't care how psychopathic or sadistic I am. I have always put my children feelings before everything.
Yeah.
When I had those moments of self-realization. So I said, this is going to be the woman who is going to be their stepmother. I'm going to take her under my wing and I'm going to treat her like a sister. And I sincerely did that for 9 years. Wow. I pretty much raised my ex-husband's new wife.
Wow.
I mean, yes, I was there for her through her pregnancies and everything. And it looked weird. We would go in public. I had family pictures, all of us together. I mean, the thing is, I balance two families because I can't manage. Here's the thing. She, in her position, it's not so much that she really just loved me. She did. But she was very intimidated by me too, which I don't blame her. But I was not a threat in any way. However, balancing two households like that for 9 years is really difficult.
Yeah.
And
look,
I did that.
Let me pause for a second. Y'all do me a favor. Starr is sharing some jewels, man. Y'all do, first and foremost, hit that like button and share this video. Look, we got about 30 minutes left before we break it down, but she ain't done yet, man. And I know she's gonna drop, go even heavier on this thing. So do me a favor, invite somebody to this live, share this video, and let's get some more people in here so they can learn from what this woman is dropping, because she is a powerful mind, and I think more people need to understand what a real transformation looks like. Because Starr, you man, look, I'm gonna get a little corny here for a second and drop my own shameless plug, but you are really living proof that that these things can really take place.
Oh so, God, yeah. Honestly, in between that 9-year period, of course, I have my husband, and like I said, balancing these things, but I've done everything to rectify everything that I did to hurt. I've rectified everything. And
you're talking on a karma type of level, or
absolutely, because here's the thing. What I did to him, me and him had our good and bad moments. Don't get me wrong, but the thing is, if I had have felt some type of way about her, then that would have been an effect on my kids, on my children. Okay. So what I did was I felt like what I injected in her is going to trickle over into even her own children. But that erases whatever energies that I've already placed out there. I don't need anything bouncing back. So what I do is I tip the scales. That don't always look right to other people,
right?
But you have to understand the way that energy flows. You have to see it from a very atomic level. Are me and her close now? No. But it was a season. It served its purpose. My children are grown up, and that's what matters.
Yeah. The final product.
That's all that matters.
Look, I listened to you talk about taking her under your wing, and I'm reconciling all these different ideas that you're sharing with me about the different ideas of womanhood and so on. And so what we have here in the Western world are a certain set of ideas about what women are, who women are, what they're supposed to be. Right. But it doesn't always align with what the Eastern cultures, how they see their women, right? And so I was listening to an old video of Dr. Miles Monroe. You familiar with him?
Yes.
Okay. For those who you don't know, he's a pastor from the Bahamas. He died in about 10 years ago, I think, or somewhere around there. But anyway, he was talking about the difference in how we see women in this culture, in the Western culture, versus how they see women in the Eastern culture. And one of the things that he mentioned was how here, women were, prior to the World War II, where women were brought into the workplace, women were primarily at home, cooking, cleaning, babies, etc. And the men went out to work. But in Eastern culture, in many Eastern cultures, women actually go out into the fields that in many regards, they're the shepherds. And the men stay home because home is where all the valuables are, the prized possessions. And so the men stay home while the women actually go out and work. So I'm bringing this up because I think sometimes we confuse roles and divine purpose, right? So talk to me a little bit about what you think the purpose of a woman is.
You know what?
Roles that have been necessarily devolved to, if that makes sense.
You know, the Starr many years ago would probably, you know, be, I'll have a different view on the roles of the woman, you know, from my previous marriage. In this marriage, where I do have a more unified way of thinking, and I see everything as unconditional love. I don't get caught up in the roles too much. I might catch some flack for that, but here's the thing. We're automatically magnetic. So we're going to attract what we need. So, okay, let's say, and it has happened. Let's say this woman is making X amount of money. Let's say she's a doctor or attorney. She's just doing well. And she falls in love with the man who's making maybe, you know, about 50,000. That's not horrible, but that's not what she's making. You know what I mean? So let's say daycare is an issue going in the future, but let's say she really loves her job and they're really down for each other. People in those types of scenarios will keep it secret that the husband is making less, or he's taking time off to be with the kids because she got a big case she's fighting, or maybe she's got patients she has to see, but their relationship is solid. So where's the roles in there? That's just everybody making shit work to make sure the whole vehicle is going. It shouldn't be based on finance. A man's manhood on leadership has nothing to do with that. Yes, that follows. Currency follows when your mind is in the right direction. Yes, sir. However, that's not what defines that man.
Yeah.
So the roles itself, it's hard because every society and every culture, everybody that thinks tribal are going to do what works for them, regardless of what's said on the internet, regardless of what a meme says, regardless of what I say. They're going to do what works for them. And there's so many life changes. You could get into a relationship thinking that you're going to be, I'm the woman, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, life going to show your ass that things don't always end up like what you think. Because what if that man gets hurt? What's going to happen? You going to leave your man? Then you never loved him. He actually is doing you're doing him a favor by just going, or vice versa. Let's say you with that woman and she done did all this for you. We gained weight. I have fat episode. My husband worked with me. I look back at pictures. I'm like, damn, Gary, you're from the islands. You stuck it out with me at 252 pounds. I'm only 5'4". No, I'm not like that now. I'm just saying I'm good now. But I'm just saying, I had a fat episode. We've been together for 11 years. I done had 3 of his babies. That man never stepped out. He's still stuck with me. And look, I got 6-pack and all that again. I'm just saying, he stuck it out with me. People just got to get rid of the superficial and just see shit for what it really is through the heart chakra. They have to. Sorry, I didn't mean to harp on that, but
I like the flow. Go. Yeah. You spin from Survivor Scrolls because I think, to your point, we get so caught up in the superficial. And, you know, I listen to a lot of people, and let's just go from how a lot of men see it. And there's this conversation right now being had about high value men, right? and how, you know, we need a woman who's fit, fine, and friendly, or feminine, beautiful, and inspirational, right? And so,
no single moms. Hold on. Wait, no single moms, remember?
No single moms.
It's a war on them.
So, and I'm not, I'm not trying to, throw dirt on them brothers or anything like that. What I'm
Wow.
saying though is that oftentimes I think when we put the superficial ahead of what's real,
Right.
right? Because I'm thankful my wife is a lovely woman and all of that,
Oh
right?
yes, she is.
But at the same time, she checks so many boxes that I didn't even know I wanted checked until after she became my wife, and I'm like, well, damn, and so now I hear all these women talking about, oh, well, what it means to be feminine. You need to do this, you need to do that, and she does. She never read any books on that stuff. It's just
Right.
organic, right? And so I think oftentimes when we, as men, for instance, when we put, fit, fine, and friendly ahead of what really makes a woman, and even deeper, what really makes a wife a wife. Like we put these trophy ideas ahead of that. Okay, here's an idea.
Those are the kind of men I used to. These weren't innocent targets. I'm just saying, if you are gonna come to me because you think that I'm a trophy or something. I mean, this, you gotta remember, it's 20 years ago. I'm knocking on 40, but I mean, I was bad. So they come, white, black, every color, every tank bracket.
I can't let you breeze by that. I can't let you breeze by that. You said they're not innocent targets.
No,
go deeper on that. What do you mean by that?
They're not innocent targets, because here's the thing: nobody is going to be able to do anything to you that you don't want, and that's the narcissist in me. So I'll turn that hat on right quick. Everybody that I hurt wanted it, and I gave them what they wanted.
Ouch! They wanted it.
They did.
Give me, say more. Say more. What do you mean they
wanted it? They wanted it. They wanted it. They did. There's still a lot of them are still friends with me online. They'll probably even come to the thrive. They sometimes come and identify themselves, but some are married. I don't bust them out. Even their wives have called me. I told them to whoop his ass or something. I'm not. Hold on. I'm not promoting domestic violence. I mean, in a good way. Some people like that shit. But a lot of people are not familiar with that type of lifestyle. So a lot of CEOs, I'm not trying to bust out no CEOs. If anybody's watching, hey, I'm not saying no names. But what I'm saying is I've met some very powerful people. The most powerful people have a dominatrix on speed dial for a reason. It humbles. It equals out things. It's self-alchemy in the weirdest way. But I understand it because you got to remember who raised me. But I mean, that's not anything I do on a regular. I'm just saying, back in the day, you got to remember, people are magnetic. I attracted people that wanted it. If you go and get a narcissistic person in your life, there is something in you that attracted that. So until you dig deep down inside of yourself and recognize it in you, you're going to keep attracting those things. It's something magnetic, and it's all quantum.
Heavy. Okay, so now that you touched on that, how does somebody recognize a narcissist? Give me some.
You really can't. You really can't. If they're good, you won't. A lot of times people will tell you who they are. But see, the thing is, people like the thought of redeeming somebody or being able to change a person. And once that person show you and tell you who they are, you really have to believe it. Even if the sex is good, the connection is good, keep it for what it is. Keep it for what it is. But if they tell you who they are, don't always rule them out. Because I told my husband what I was, and he laughed at me. He was like, okay, whatever.
So wait a minute. You were a narcissist all the way up until you met your husband?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, but he turned me down after a while. And it made me feel some type of way because I don't get turned down. So I was just like, so not turn me down. I wouldn't say he turned me down. I wonder if he wouldn't mind if I share this. But look, I really was attracted to him, but I was trying to throw the superficial out at him and he wasn't biting it. I had to show this, and it gave me a challenge. So it made me get better.
Wow. And that's the alchemical polarity in a sense, because the challenge that you were met by drove you to say, hey, wait a minute, I can still even overcome that.
Yes, absolutely. Because my thing is, if I can't dominate him, then that must be the one. I need to. That may be my equal right there.
Wow. You had a let me see. I think you had another meme that you had in that group, and man, I should have had I should have had it where I could put them up on the screen. But this idea that quantum physics, I want to touch on that again just for a second. How quantum physics tells us that nothing that is observed is unaffected by the observer. Right? Nothing that is observed is unaffected by the observer.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go into that a little bit and what that actually means?
It means that once you start focusing on it, the whole way it realizes it's conscious. You're conscious of it. Anything that you put the focus on, it stops. It actually goes on your thoughts.
Yeah.
The atoms.
So, excuse me. So you're saying that if you look at something with a certain mindset, that your mindset is what helps bring about the manifestation of what you actually see.
Yes, because it happens on a whole different dimension. You can't see it. A lot of people, when they go, "Oh, I've been manifesting this, but I can't." You can't see it. You can't even see Wi-Fi signals. But you know that your laptop is connected. You just can't see it because our eyes aren't designed to see those things. We can't see most. So right. There are things that are happening on other dimensions. Think of atoms as little Legos. Those Legos we step on, the kids leave out. That's all atoms are. They're just little building blocks of matter, all of our reality. So when you're thinking, they start gyrating and they looking at you like, okay, what you got? What you got? What you got? What you gonna throw at me?
Yeah.
And the more that you throw and more you throw your waves, the more you're throwing at it, they gonna work for you. You just can't see them working.
So talk about then how a person, we're talking about this idea of the us manifesting the reality based on what we think we see, or even maybe sometimes what we want to see. How does a person use that same energy and transmute that or bring about the outcomes that they actually want versus what they think they see?
They need to, first off, and this is something this is my strategy. It may work different for other people, but I do it quite often. I did it yesterday for my birthday. You need to literally face your ego. You have to tear it down. You have to be your worst critic. But then you break it down to pieces and then you build that shit back up. You build it back. And it's so hard to do that. So check this out. In the process of doing that, nobody can trigger you because you done already, okay, I'm fat, and okay, check. You already done all the things that you thinking, you're already just tear yourself down. And then after you tear yourself down, all those things, okay, yeah, I'm a failure, boom, check. You get all these things, you face your ego. And I know that sounds crazy. You got to face demons. That's demons. That's only you. There's nothing outside of you. It's you. So you got to face those things. And not the average person is so hard. But after you do it, then you calibrate. You take all those pieces. You do mot. You take all those pieces because you need the bad too. You need that bad. You need the darkness. You can't always have the light. You got to balance that shit because light will blind you. I have an analogy in the book. The soil's dark, all under there. We can't see the process. So when we put a seed there, every time you uncover that seed, little kids, when they plant the seed, they always want to go uncover it, don't they? The seed can't grow.
Right.
It's got to be in darkness. You got to let it happen, and then it'll eventually come up. It'll come up. That's literally what you got to do, but you're not going to see it right away all the time. But if you start asking for signs, you will get it. Whatever you ask for, you're going to get it anyway. But you have to be, you have to understand the levels. People, they'll be like, I prayed and I did this, I did that. What state of mind are you in?
Okay.
Yes. What state of mind? Everything works with brain waves. People can't see those waves. Remember the waves, right?
Yeah. So, okay. So to put a cap on what you just said, an accurate self-assessment is the first step.
Accurate self-assessment. There you go.
Because people, I think that's really the probably the biggest mistake that people make, or where the biggest shortcoming is, people do a self-assessment, but they're not very accurate. And I think, just being honest and accurate, and sometimes that honesty hurts. But ain't nobody there but you, right? Just you and God, and whatever, right? And if you can be honest with yourself, that is the beginning of the transformation.
But you could see the people that aren't. If you ever see a post, especially a single mom post, and if they posted and a whole bunch of women go on there, or any post, it could be a single mom post, it could be a post bashing men. The main people that's going to go on there are the ones that have the main insecurities, and they telling on themselves.
Yeah.
I laugh. I'm friends with all the guys that roast the women. You know why? Because everything they're saying is what I was, and I be cracking up. I'm like, oh yeah, I used to take them for their money. Oh, that's funny. I can't believe the standard fee is $40 now. I'm just like, what? Oh my God, that's crazy. I could never even imagine. I mean, I'm not saying that I was ever that type of chick, but I'm just saying, like, if I'm going to be that, it's not going to be. Just saying, like, what's going on these days? Huh? No. I had too many millionaires chasing me down. I didn't even know things had prices for a while in my dating years. But my point is just the dialogue that is being talked about is not exactly accurate. These men are doing these things in real life, but they're upset because they can't vocalize this to the women they're really upset about.
Yeah.
And most of it is their mothers.
Oof. Hold on. You can't whistle by that one. What do you mean by that?
They mad at their moms. I could say this because I don't, like I said, I mentor people. So I get to the root of the issue, and it's normally mama.
Yeah. So how does being mad at your mother translate to your interaction with other women? Break that down.
Because she's the first woman that you fall in love with. So every other woman is going to mirror certain components of her. Not necessarily physically, because a lot of people think, oh well, it ain't gotta be the same color. I'm not hooked on that too much. But the attributes are very much similar. Just like your little girl, she's gonna go and try to find a man to mimic what daddy's standards are. That's not always 100%, but that's pretty much statistically how it is. So women have to be very careful. I have only brought one man around my children after my divorce from my ex-husband. The only other man I have ever seen is my husband, is my current husband, who treats them like his own. So all I'm saying is women have to be very cautious about that, because boys will lose respect for you really quick. He see you out there doing dumb shit. You do that in front of your son, you're gonna lose respect. He's gonna lose respect for you. I feel like women should just hold off. If they are single mothers, keep it very separate, or only date men that you would be proud of if your son turned out like that, because that's what's gonna happen. Whatever you have around, that's what's gonna happen.
Heavy. I want to backtrack just a little bit, because you touched on something that I think is pretty powerful, and that's prayer. And I think that most people misuse prayer because we weren't taught how to pray correctly. So now here you are, you're an ordained minister, and you're also an alchemist. So talk to me a little bit about prayer and the incorrect use of prayer and the proper use of prayer.
I feel like as far as prayer, I feel like meditation and prayer, these two things need to be intertwined, because it's looked at as a dual. So my thing was with prayer, you have to understand you're pushing out a message into the universe, God, the divine source. You're pushing it out. You have to be very specific, because the universe will give you instructions. They will give you the instructions you give it, it will give you. You have to be very strategic in what you're praying for. Example, you can't pray for a husband or a wife, but then you're steady caught up on looking for the superficial things that are supposed to come to the table. What if you need compassion in your life? And that's what that person brings to the table. So if you're praying for something, you got to be able to recognize that the prayer is not really the problem. It's the recognition of when those things come. That's why awareness is good, because the prayer, God's going to give you what you're asking for. You just might not see, you might not have the eye to see it. Just like we can't see these Wi-Fi signals. You might not be able to see it because you're just not tuned in. You got to tune in to yourself to see all those blessings coming in that you pray for. But they come. They really do come. So people really need to just be strategic in the praying. But sorry. Applying the alchemy is also making sure that you balance it. You see how I did with my ex-husband, and that what I did there, and made sure his marriage was on track and all that stuff.
Right.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying everybody got to do that, but I'm saying I balance the scales.
Yeah. You had another meme in the group that I thought was pretty funny. You had Sir Isaac Newton, right? And it said, so I wish I had it on my computer. I would put it up for everybody to see
it's funny.
But the meme said, I like them thick AF, right? And then the helper says to Sir Isaac Newton, but sir, we can't write that. And then Sir Isaac Newton says, well, then write this. The greater the mass, the greater the force of attraction.
Right.
And so it's a little bit of, witty humor, right? But here's the point. When I met my wife, she was very, very slim, right? Cute shape, but very, very slim. And I wasn't into thick girls. I liked a pretty face.
Right.
And as I became more attracted to the thickness, she was having babies and she became more of, so my attraction actually fell right in line with her natural progression into who she is right now.
Right.
Here's the point. If I had not, if I was more concerned or more consumed with the superficial, I like them thick AF, right? If I was that guy 30 years ago, I wouldn't have the woman in my life that I have right now, who is, when I talk about the value that my wife adds to my life, it supersedes far and above anything that she represents in the physical, as far as appearance goes, right?
Absolutely.
So just kind of going back into that idea about how we get so caught up in the superficial that sometimes we can block our own blessings. And I use that on purpose, but we can block our own blessings because we don't even realize. I asked you this question before for the purpose of a woman. I think just from a man's perspective, but I'll even throw women in there too. I think one of the biggest reasons that relationships fail is because most people don't realize the purpose of a man and a woman. They think, we have all these superficial ideas of how good they make me feel. Is he, how tall, abs, money? Is she, whatever these boxes are that we need checked. And so talk to me again a little bit about what you think the purpose of a woman is in the life of a man. Am I making sense?
Yes. Yeah. I see, I'm not into the, a lot of people say, you need a man to dominate. No, I feel like we are in equals. We are partner. We're in a partnership and we're building a legacy. So I see it as one. It's the yin yang. I have it tattooed right here, but but it's literally the yin yang. The role of us, yes, we birth, we nurture. That's I feel is our role. However, that's not to me, I don't make that a rule because I'm not a nurturer per se. My husband is. So it just depends. I can't. It's hard for me to put the roles in because I don't fulfill those things as that what I know and how I would say the woman's role. But I do my best. But what I'm saying is sometimes that masculine force is going to fill in for whatever that woman's lacking, and vice versa.
There's a word. I came across this principle called complementarity, and it kind of falls right in line with what you were talking about with yin yang, right? And I see relationships really very similarly to what you just described. That it's not a dominant thing. The relationship, the most organic relationship between male and female is a symbiotic relationship. It's
Mm-hmm.
not, I'm not more important than she is. She's not more important than I am. Neither one of us, in my estimation, neither one of us can reach our apex as human beings without the other.
Absolutely. There you
And
go. I don't, yep, I can't measure it. That scale, it has to be calibrated, and I'm right in the middle right there.
yeah, and so if I need her to reach the fullest potential that I can bring to this planet, then if the moment you place her in the category of necessary, then how can she be any less important than me? Or even vice versa. So that's just kind of where I'm at with it. And I think that's pretty much what you were saying
Yes,
too.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I really, really appreciate you coming on here because I knew that you was gonna light it up and share some gems. I really hope, man, y'all do me a favor and share this video because I think more of what you share needs to be heard, not even just by women, but I think a lot of men need to hear your perspective as well. Tell us a little bit about your group, Mastery of Mentalism, I guess. Okay.
Basically, I'm highlighting basically the unseen, in a way to where it's not boring. Everything sciencey kind of can be boring to the average, but no, I'm actually showing how these things are applied to your life now, and just changing the perspective. Just a slight change in how you see something, and it can literally just eliminate so much. So remember, I said aligning to those things that we see, those blessings, you start seeing them more because you're more aware. You
Yeah.
ever buy a car? You ever buy a Corolla, or you ever buy a car that you never even, never seen the model out before. And the next thing you know, you go to the gas station, you go to your kid's school function. That's all you see is that one car.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but it's always been there. It's just
Yep.
now in your focus.
Yeah. Yeah. So your motivation behind developing that group is what? Just kind of like to get people to think higher, or like
Yes.
what? Okay.
Yes, and it has nothing to do with you could be any religion, you could be anything. I don't tell anyone what to think. I just give ideas on how to think. So instead of thinking, just about all the physical things, I just give a perspective into the quantum world.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a private group, right?
It is. It is.
So you're going to be selective about who you allow in there, right?
Not at all. You know what? I did a group a long time ago, and it was very successful, but I received a lot of backlash and different things, and a lot of people were offended. And back then, I was more abrasive than I am now, so I've toned it down quite a bit because I don't want to. I don't want people so taken aback by me, and I'm doing better at it. I can be a bit. This is actually I'm on my best behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the name of your group, right? Mastery of Mentalism.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So y'all go over there to type in the search and look for Starr's group, Mastery of Mentalism. It's a powerful group. She shares a lot of wisdom and a lot of powerful gems in that group. You also have a book. You're an
Yeah.
author. So talk a little bit about your book.
Well, I basically I wrote in my diary as a little girl, and it was a little butterfly book. I bought it. It was for $1. I bought it when I was 9, and I went through a lot of abuse, as I mentioned earlier. And that book kind of kept me afloat, And last year, I had a suicidal moment, and I happened to. A lot of weird things happened, but anyway, make a long story short, I just happened to open my childhood diary, and I opened it to the exact date that I wrote in it from that day, and it made me think, like, gosh, This is not coincidence. April 4th, 1996, April 4th, year 2020.
Wow.
2020, yeah, 2020. And I had the same thought. Like, I was suicidal as a little girl. And then when I seen it, I was like, dang, I felt the same exact way then. And then I started going through the book and realized that I wasn't alone. Something was conscious within me that I wasn't even aware. And that pretty much saved my life. So it was so powerful. So anybody that ever wants to transform their life completely from the inside out, it's literally a butterfly experience. So it's not all about what happened to me, but I'm giving tips on how to do it, the laws of attraction. I'm breaking down a bit on how you can apply sacred geometry into these things. So I go pretty deep.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty deep.
So you said you had you were going through some depression,
I
and
was.
did you go to a therapist or anything for that, or did you kind of overcome? How did you do that? How'd you deal with that?
No, I didn't. I had to do a past life regression on myself.
Wow, man, I wish we had more than an hour because that sounds heavy. A past life regression.
I put it in the book. Yeah, I went through it. I had to, because that was the only thing that was going to stop the suicidal ideations. Because the little girl still exists. See, the past, present, and future is all a quantum soup right there already. So I was able to tap in and show her who I am today. And actually, I was her hero in that moment. And it was an insert in the book where I was 15 and I was 9 months pregnant, I believe. And that was an insert I made. That was the last insert I made in the book. And I had to go back to her and show her who my son is today. I mean, he's a man, he's married, he's grown, but I had to go back and show her, you're going to be okay. Because, I had many moments where I had no reassurance that it was going to be okay. So I had to literally go back. And once I healed it, what happens is it changes your brain chemistry too, because it's a quantum effect. So I went and I changed the narrative, and here I am.
Where can we get that book? Where can that book be ordered?
It's on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, man, because people in our community, we think of depression and even mental illness to a large degree. It for decades, for well over a century, it's been shunned, and we don't want to talk about it. Nobody needs help in this area more than we do, I think. I don't know that anybody, particularly in this country, has been through as much as we have. And so just to hear you talk about doing that type of work on yourself, I mean, that's immeasurably powerful, because most people can't do that. And I don't even advise most people to do that. I think most people need to get some professional help in doing that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I sat in the sun and I drank a lot of water. I was prepared for it. I had my, but yeah, that's why I'm here. Like, that's what made me feel the need to be ordained, because at this point I'm at a healing point in my life. It was kind of like segment. Like she used to be all, fire and scary, and all of a sudden now she's seen Ptah and she turned into a healer. Well, my husband is Ptah, and right. I haven't done anything out of the ordinary, I could say, in a very long time. And I heal a lot of people with the story. Yeah, I do offend people. I do. And the only reason why I offend people is because I have to offend myself before anything else. So I feel like whatever dose I give myself, I'll give it to you too. But I don't offend people to make them feel bad. I will never purposely ever try to make anyone feel bad. I will make comedy out of it. I'm not going to lie. A lot of times when people come for me, I already have things that I wrote that can validate that I seen them coming 5 years prior. Here, I can't argue with you in this time frame, but you can argue with me 5 years ago. So here's a memory that correlates. So there's a lot of things that I had to overcome, and like I said, I heal with my stories. So
heavy, man. I'm definitely gonna have to have you back on here, because that you laid out some ideas and some breadcrumbs that I think we can dig deeper into in one of the future episodes that we can get you back on here for, if you don't mind coming back.
Oh, I don't mind, and yeah, I don't mind. Like I said, I would love to touch more on people that want to be heard. I do want to touch on that because a lot of people don't even realize they want it.
Mm. On that note, I think I think I'm gonna wrap it up on that note. I thank you so much for joining me. This is my first episode, and I thought, look, I call myself the Love Alchemist. You are uh, an ordained minister and an alchemist, and I think I don't know that there's a better way or a more powerful way to kick off this idea of living proof than to bring in a little bit of masculine, feminine energy surrounded and steeped in alchemy. So, um, you know,
So
again, I think that as we talk about these types of transformations of going from, mediocre to marvelous, from subpar to setting standards, I think, again, it all begins in the mind, right? And uh, to many of the points that you made, you are who you say you are. You have what you say you have. And I think we're gonna end on that note. Again, family, thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. Do me a favor and share this video. I think that people can grow from some of the ideas that were shared here tonight. Um, and I'll pass it back over to you, Starr. Do you have any closing remarks or anything you want to share? Any ways that you want to tell the family how they can reach you or follow you or anything? The floor is yours.
yeah, sure. You know what? I feel free to add me. Also, I have a page, Dark Enlightenment. So that's my darker side. I keep mastery and mentalism more. Strictly mentalism, but Dark Enlightenment, my sadistic side does come out. So if you want to add that part, you can. And yes, go ahead and reach out to me soon. I will be mentoring others. And that's down. That's I'm gonna do my ministry. So that's down the line. But other than that, just stay mindful, prayed up, and aware, and just
Yeah.
know that unconditional love is everything. Breathe well. Make sure you get all the carbon monoxide off out of your lungs. Breathe. Sorry, I'm just trying to. Somebody out there needs to hear that. So I'm
Yeah,
just saying,
no, real. That's real.
breathe through your nose, and you'll be all right. I don't know who that was for, but hey. But other than that, that's all I have.
Appreciate you again, sis. Thank you so much, and thank you all, family, for joining me. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and you're here with us, and for that we are eternally thankful. Love y'all, fam. Peace.
Much love.